Alrighty. Are we live? Are we live? Yeah, we are. Alright. Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Burn KC. I am your host, Alex Blackburn. And you may notice a few things different about this here ScorchCast. Number one, it's on a Tuesday. 4th of July was this weekend, and figured I'd take the weekend to celebrate that and to hang out with friends and all sorts of fun things. You know, the things that you do on a holiday weekend. But we're back to work today, and we are talking about a lot of stuff. So stay tuned. But second thing I wanted to point out was you may notice the lighting looks a little different. I have recently come into the possession of a ring light camera that is currently attached to my setup, and it's gonna provide a little bit better lighting, I hope. Leave a comment down below if you think, oh my god, now I can see this dude's ugly face in the ring light camera. Oh god, oh no. And I will happily respond with a very emotional message, more than likely, if you call me ugly. That would hurt a lot, so don't do that. I digress. But we got a good show for you today. 1 second, my computer's being kind of annoying here. Go away. Okay, we're good. We got a packed show, like I said, for you today. I'm going to talk about conference realignment and all the news surrounding that hubbub. Also got some in-state recruiting or in-state high school football recruiting, and one team doing very, very well, and one team doing, well, they could do better. But we'll talk about that later. Then we got, of course, your standard Chiefs and Royals. A few things going on with them. And then we got rugby. Everyone's favorite topic. Because it's my favorite topic. So let's jump in. First, we got conference realignment. I'm sure most of you heard the news at this point if you keep up with NCAA stuff. Everybody's moving. Everyone's moving all different directions. And I think we're going to see the very first conference to span across 4 different time zones. You know, great for TV, I'm sure. But I guess we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. But what I mean by that is the Big 12, among, you know, the SEC and the Big 10 as well, they're seemingly becoming super conferences. Everybody's just moving to those specific 3. Like the Pac-12 may not even be a thing after 2025. But it's very interesting to see these super conferences forming and the opinions forming on these said super conferences. It's, in my opinion, there's a lot of stipulations that goes into these and what they could mean for the sport. The pros, for me, are you could have a lot new rivalries show up. If you're a fan of West Coast football, you might be able to actually watch your team play if you live on the East Coast or Central Time, because games aren't going to start at 11 o'clock at night. But who knows? We'll see. And then you just got the concept of money showing up again. It's truly the bottom line is money, and this super conference idea could spell buku bucks for the ones that are benefiting from it, at least. Um, it kind of looks like the Pac-12 is being bought out. The smaller conferences are being bought out by by the big boys, the SEC, Big Ten, and Big 12. I mean, yeah, you still have the ACC and Pac-12 as the Power Five, but that's where the money is the Big Ten, SEC, and Big 12. Um, there's a lot of rich California schools too, but it's looking like they want to get richer because USC and UCLA want to go to the Big Ten. Stanford and Cal, I believe, are the two California schools that want to head to the Big 12, which is probably going to look more like the Big 20 if everyone stays that is going to stay, and the people that come in are going to come in. Same with the Big 10. Why do we even have numbers anymore in these conferences? Like, they actually used to mean something. The Big 8 used to have 8 teams. The Big 12 used to have 12 teams. And then the Big 10 used to have 10 teams. It's, and I guess like the Pac-12 as well, but that's beside the point. Obviously, that's not the biggest point here. But in terms of cons, you have lucrative TV deals in the arms race amping up in terms of, well, I wouldn't say TV deals are even a con necessarily, but what I'm saying is for the smaller schools that don't have as much money, this could hurt a lot. And this could hurt the NCAA a lot as well. I mean, to a lesser degree than the smaller schools that are involved. It will be detrimental for the MAC. It will be detrimental for the AAC, the Sun Belt, and others because they won't be able to get that TV time. They won't be able to compete with these super conferences. I mean, they'll get the lion's share of the TV deals. They'll get the lion's share of the money. They'll get lion's share of the recruits. It's gonna kill it might kill a couple football programs, and I think that's the biggest con of them all. Is you're thinning out the competition, and competition that doesn't need to be thinned out. If you were paying attention a few days earlier, I posted my ideas on what conferences would look like or what conferences should look like in my opinion. Obviously, I am but a lowly sportscaster, but it's geographically sound. The conferences that do earn the money still earn the money because they'll have the decent teams involved, the ones that can. My point being is, my idea gives the small schools a chance to compete. But what the conferences are doing right now and the schools are doing right now is very money driven. And eventually, when something becomes too money driven, it drives out the competition. It's the I can't pronounce anything today. It's the monopolization of college sports. And, again, it might be good for the big schools. It's really not going to be good for the small schools. Or at least the ones that can't afford to move conferences like BYU, Cincinnati, UCF, etc. Am I excited for a new look Big 12, a new look Big 10, a new look SEC? Yeah, in kind of a in a curious way, I think is the word that I want to use there. In a curious way, because again, you got those possibility of new rivalries forming, or even old rivalries coming back, depending on where Iowa State goes to, or shoot, where Kansas and K State go to, or anything like that. And that's another thing is, Kansas is talking about moving to the Big Ten. Is that the best option for them? In terms of basketball, I think so. Not in terms of football by any means for KU. But that's small potatoes right now. We're talking about entire conferences being wiped out or being moved down, which could in the end kill FBS football. It's an imbalance of power, and it's an imbalance of resources, which college athletics has always had a problem with. But this money-driven strategy makes it an even bigger problem. And I think you're going to see more uneven competition as well. Do I think BYU, UCF, and all these other small schools could compete at that high of a level? Some of them, yeah, but not Akron, not Marshall, not Arkansas State. Like these schools that, not Western Kentucky, like these schools that have made a name for themselves in their conference are now going to be struggling to get recruits, and it's going to make football worse, is what I'm saying. It's going to make football less evenly distributed in terms of college, and it's going, again, to kill a lot of programs. So I don't think it's a great idea, but then again, I'm not the one making the decisions, and obviously those schools care about money. The NCAA cares about money probably a lot more than they care about, what's going to happen to insert random private university that barely makes enough money to even field a football team. But we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting to see. I have kind of a mixed opinion on it, as you just saw, but in the end, I think it will objectively make college football worse. So, but speaking of college football and high school football for that matter, we've got some in-state recruiting news. Avery Johnson, who was the number 94 ranked recruit in the class of 2023, just committed to K-State, which he was the number one ranked player in Kansas. From now so let me backtrack here. Dylan Edwards, also a K-State commit, was the number one recruit in the state of Kansas. Avery Johnson was number 2. K-State just got both of them. K-State is once again showing how they didn't take a step back after Bill Snyder left. I think what Coach Klinman has done for that program is phenomenal. I think K-State's going to be a force to be reckoned with in the coming future. Not saying like not saying that they'll be like Alabama or anybody like that. If Bill Snyder can't get them there, then what makes you think that Chris Klinneman will? Other than his successful NDSU programs. But what I'm getting at is we're seeing the domination of K-State in in-state recruiting once again. And that's a really, really bad thing for KU football. If I remember correctly, KU football hardly has any in-state recruits. Or at least any ones of note. And yeah, they've got a great transfer class coming in. Yeah, their recruited class is okay. It's not the worst in the Big 12, but it's certainly not the best. It's middle of the road. And until KU can snag these in-state guys, I think K-State's always going to have the edge in football. And which is kind of a double-edged sword because an oxymoron in a way. But with that, KU football has to get better now. They have to impress recruits now. And that's where the double-edged sword thing comes in, because you got to get these in-state recruits to come to your school. But the way to do that is to be good at football. And that's probably a more pressing issue than it is getting in-state recruits. So I kind of understand what KU and Lance Leipold's getting at when it comes to football recruiting. But also at the same time, KU football just got to do better in terms of producing, in terms of capitalizing on the product, the talent product that's coming out of Kansas and Missouri, because it's growing. Over the past few years, we've seen guys that didn't get all that much, attention from schools outside of the states and, Division I schools even. I played with a lot of guys that could have easily played Division I football if they had gotten noticed. But over the past 10 years, we've seen Kansas and Missouri football become better and become more noticed, or in high school, at the high school level, is what I'm saying. And KU football needs to capitalize on that, but until they get better, they're always going to play second fiddle to K-State in terms of in-state recruits, which is a huge, huge thing in college recruiting. You have to get in-state recruits. You have to get these highly touted guys that are at your doorstep. And Mizzou recognizes that. K-State recognizes that. And KU just simply doesn't. Because around here, KU football's a joke. In the NCAA, KU football's a joke. And in order to turn that around, I think with the current crop that you have to get better. I think with your recruiting, you have to get better. Don't get me wrong. Lance Leipold's a great recruit. There's a reason KU football has such a great transfer class coming in. It's because Lance Leipold can recruit. But you got to recruit those in-state guys harder. I mean, that's what Bill Snyder did. That's what Chris Klinneman is doing. He is going after these in-state recruits, and he is giving them most of his energy, most of his recruiting energy. And it's paying out for him. I think K-State's going to be a force to be reckoned with in the coming years. And that's kind of how K-State football has worked over the past few years, is They build up on the in-state recruits. They build up on the notoriety and build up on the kind of family chemistry aspect of college football. Is okay, look, we're a family, we're all from the same community. This is a team that you can get behind. Whereas KU really, especially over the past few years, has not done that. They're getting guys from Louisiana, they're getting guys from California, Virginia, Texas, which is all well and good because those are states that do produce a lot of football recruits. But you have to get those in-state guys. And honestly, getting the in-state guys should be easier than getting those out-of-state guys. But KU football makes it look like it's not. So you want to know how KU football gets better? That's how. But Lance Leipold's still doing a good job. I think he's still making strides to make this program, to make KU football better, but he still has a lot of work to do, especially in the in-state recruiting department. So, moving on to a little bit better of a football team. That's the Chiefs for you, by the way. Chiefs have made a little bit of news, not a whole lot. Training camp's going to start this month. Obviously, I'm excited for that. Excited for the boys to get back to St. Joe and, showing what they can do. I think this is a very underrated Chiefs team that has the possibility to go far. And all they got to do is show it now. But in terms of, the preseason rankings and everything like that, I think they're inaccurate. I think as someone who is close to the action and knows his stuff about football, I think the Chiefs have a good chance at making noise this year. A much better chance than the rest of the media is giving them, at least. And I'm not just saying that as a Chiefs fan. I'm saying that as a football fan. I think you see a lot of balance with this team. I think you see a lot of Patrick Mahomes centered play, like moves, because that's who they want to build around. That's who they got their big contract for. And one area in particular is the wide receiver room. A lot of people are knocking our wide receivers for being, in the lower echelon of preseason rankings. They're not in the lower echelon of preseason rankings, for one. I think that's ridiculous that they're ranked 19th out of 32. Do I think that they're a top 10? Maybe 11 or 12, but I don't think they cracked that top 10 just yet. I still think they're an upper middle group, but they're a group that can absolutely excel depending on what game we're going to see out of Juju, what game we're going to see out of Marquez Valdez-Scantling, out of Justin Ross and Josh Gordon even. Like guys that are fighting for those 5th and 6th wide receiver spots. And it's going to be interesting. What's his name? Watson. The guy that we got from the Buccaneers. I forget his first name, but he's making noise as well in training camp. He's garnering national attention. And that's definitely the area, for sure offensively, and then on the entire team, that a lot of people had questions about going in, that people had the most questions about going in. And I think a lot of those questions were unwarranted because we have a good, deep group of wide receivers that are going to be built based on the competition that they face in training camp. There's going to be a lot of guys fighting for that spot, and there's going to be a lot of motivated guys fighting for that spot. And I think that's going to bring out the best in in that Chiefs wide receiver room. But it'll be interesting to see who makes that final roster. Let's just say that. And then even more interesting to see how they play. And no matter who gets picked to be on that final roster, I think you're going to see a much better group of wide receivers than everyone is anticipating. So hold your horses. Everybody just calm down. The Chiefs are going to be fine in that respect. Another area of question is, do the Chiefs need to bolster their defense? Going into this offseason, they had a very weak corner group. They had a very weak defensive end and pass rush group. And they had okay linebackers. That spells bad defense, and we saw that last year for sure. But if we didn't do anything about it this offseason, we would have been even worse. So with the additions that we've made, or the Chiefs have made, they got better. And a lot of people are worried that will be a bad or that the Chiefs will have a bad defense this year. I don't think that at all. I think the Chiefs have a chance to be a successful defense with or without another free agent signing like Robert Quinn or even Ndamukong Suh, who has expressed interest in the free agent market, or others. So it's going to be interesting to see where the Chiefs defense goes with this. Do I think Steve Spagnuolo is a good coach? Yes. But I would say he's on thin ice. I think if this group, if he's given the tools to succeed and nothing happens, I think Spagnuolo's gone. But if he succeeds, I'll give Spagnuolo 3 years to figure out this defense. If he doesn't figure it out in 3 years, he's gone. Maybe even 2. Counting this one, mind you. But I think Steve Spagnuolo has the tools to be successful with this defense right now. And I think there's still a lot of areas that will need development and will need to be worked on, including the corners and the pass rush. That secondary still needs to find a leader. And yeah, Justin Reed has kind of emerged as that, but I don't want another Tyrann Mathieu situation where the leader is a guy that he's focused on the team and making the team better, but it's not motivational. It's not the Chiefs defense needs a motivator, like they have in Patrick Mahomes on the offense. Like the reason I say that is because I saw an NFL mic'd up, where Mecole Hardman, it was during the Chiefs-Bills divisional game. Divisional game? Yeah, divisional game. Where Mecole Hardman dropped that punt. And he, was real down in the dumps going to the sideline because it was a pretty crucial mistake. But Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce were both there talking up him and motivating him to, hey, go out next play and do better. And he ended up scoring a touchdown on the next offensive drive. And that's what the Chiefs defense needs right now, is that they need a motivator. Can that be Justin Reed? Absolutely. Can that be Nick Bolton? Absolutely. Can it be L'Jarius Sneed even? Yeah, I would say so. Or Frank Clark to a lesser degree, honestly, because Frank Clark's had enough time to prove himself as a leader, and he really kind of hasn't. Um, Again, it's a prove it year for him. It's a prove it year for a lot of people, but it's definitely a prove it year for him, to make sure we paid the right guy. So we'll see what comes of that. But in summary, the Chiefs need a motivator on defense, and then possibly another free agent signing in Robert Quinn. But I might make a poll asking y'all if the Chiefs do need another free agent signing. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. So just let me know whenever. Let me know whenever you get done here, and I'll post a poll. So, but going to rugby now. The MLR championship was this past week, and the Rugby New York ended up topping the Seattle Seawolves in a tighter contested game than the scoreboard indicated. It was 31-17, 36. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was a tightly contested game, and it was on Fox. Which this is the main topic that I wanted to address when it comes to rugby. Not really local stuff. There's not a ton happening right now in local stuff, except for the Blues Golf Tournament happening on August 12th that yours truly is organizing. So if you want to sponsor that or come out to it, email me. We can work something out. Call me. We can work something out. Or just DM me. Not on the Burn KC, but on my personal one, because I don't want you DMing me on my business account. How dare you? It's not a business inquiry. I'm digressing. I apologize. But when it comes to rugby, USA Rugby in particular, there is a common theme when it comes to rugby on TV in the United States. And that is USA Rugby's struggle for some reason, to get it on TV, on mainstream television. And you have a streaming service in Flow Rugby that you have to pay $30 a month for. So, if I wanted to pay $30 a month to watch rugby that, may or may not even be good, that looks bad, honestly. It looks one-dimensional and it looks bad. Plus, the service itself is bad. I mean, shoddy internet and shoddy connection kind of put a damper on the USA's win over the French Barbarians. They won 26-21, but not like anybody that doesn't know about rugby could see. It's the fact that the USA Rugby as an organization is letting money get in the way of growth. They have the TV contracts to put their games on FS1, on Fox Sports, in different mainstream media. But they just don't. And while I understand that, you got to work out stuff with the people that you're under contract with, it doesn't feel like the effort's there. It doesn't feel like the people that are in charge care about the sport. I quoted in my article about it, former Eagles player Stephen Thomason, and he said it's killing the growth of the game. And I agree with them. I think if you're going to try and get rugby popular by 2031 when the Rugby World Cup comes here, you have to get it on TV. You have to get it in front of eyes that may not have been exposed to the TV or may not have been exposed to rugby. My apologies, my brain's kind of scrambled. But it's a matter of making that effort and pushing rugby in the United States that you should look for. And it's not just USA Rugby's fault. It's the people that they've made deals with, Flow Rugby, with Fox and everything like that. There's not enough of an effort to get it on TV, to get it exposure. But and again, this may be a financial thing, but I doubt it, because frankly speaking, USA Rugby's an Olympic. It's an Olympic sport. You should be able to fund it, and you should be able to get it on TV. Or it's an Olympic organization, rather, and it's just frustrating to watch USA Rugby and Fox Sports and all them fumble this opportunity so hard, because frankly speaking, if you got it in front of enough eyes, rugby could be one of the biggest sports in the United States. It's fast paced, it's fun to watch, there's a great culture around it, and it's a contact sport. it could be great in the United States if there was a focus on grassroots development from youth, not from high school, from like ages 7 to 12, as well as 16 and up. And there needs the TV contracts need to be figured out. It's a mess, and it doesn't have to be, is what I'm saying. It can be so much better, and it can be so much more popular than it is. It's not like the MLS. We know the opinion of soccer in America. While it, the sustaining growth, while the MLS was all important for getting soccer to come here, it's weak. It's the retirement home for European players. And looking at how the MLR is functioning right now, that's what you're going to get if the MLR keeps going down that path of, oh, look, guys, it's Ma Nonu. Oh, look, guys, it's Quade Cooper. Who outside the scope of rugby right now, who knows who those guys are? Outside of the scope of the rugby community, who knows who those guys are? That's the point we're trying to get at. We need grassroots development from the MLR, and then we need better TV deals from USA Rugby. That's how you grow the game. That's how you get this country prepared for 2031 and 2033. If we want to look like we're a nation worth our salt in rugby, that's how we get there. And this sport, and rugby could be truly great in the United States. But the opportunities are being missed. And they cannot be missed anymore. Especially with the World Cup coming up. So, that's just my opinion on that. We're going to move to the Royals now. Again, everybody's favorite topic. Oh, yeah, the Royals. Oh, my God. So, the Royals got better. Yeah, I know that's a statement that you probably didn't expect to hear out of my mouth. But they've gotten better at bringing up young talent and trading away the old guys gathering dust. And that's not to say, Carlos Santana didn't perform because he had his moments, but he's past his prime, man. And it's. I'm not gonna say it's good to see him go, but it opens up the opportunity for young guys, and that is the thing that the Royals should focus on right now. Because it's not a problem with the younger guys. The young guys are good. The ones on the roster currently. It is this aging lineup that is mismanaged that is the problem. Along with, Bali, and we've already ran that course with the Royals TV contracts. Very, very similar to USA Rugby in the sense that, just it's very similar. But basically, what the Royals need to do, first and foremost, they need to fire Cal Eldred. This past game, I know the Royals have blown a lot of leads this year, but come on, guys, when are we going to recognize that the pitching staff needs new management? There's a lot of young talent on that pitching staff that can soar if they are under the right management. And it's just not happening. Again, it's royal ineptitude. And something needs to happen soon with the management of the Royals. But another thing that needs to happen is we need to replace a few key players that can be replaced, mind you, by guys that are shining in the minors. Guys like Nick Prado, Eduardo Olivares. There's a couple others that Carter Jansen. There's a few other farm prospects that need to be moved up in place of guys like Hunter Dozier, guys like Hunter Dozier, guys like Michael A. Taylor, guys like, I know some Royals fans are going to hate me for this, Whit Merrifield, and there's a few other old guys on this team. Even Salvador Perez is like, we got to start planning your retirement party. They're past their prime. And this team needs young talent. This team needs, and I know I've beaten this dead horse, I promise you, we're almost done. But this team needs young talent now more than ever. And they need to capitalize on the potential development that they can get this young talent. The potential major league exposure. Because they're not going to learn how the majors... the difference between the majors and minors has only grown bigger over the past few years. And these guys are... They're doing really good in the minors. But the majors are a different ballgame. I mean, they're truly a completely different ballgame. Still baseball, but that's not what I meant. But there's a talent gap that needs to be... There's a talent gap, but there isn't a big enough talent gap to where we can't give these young guys a chance. Guys that are performing well above the standard in minor leagues. Because that's what it's there for. Is for baseball programs to develop young guys and call them up. But the Royals are too focused on bringing in guys that are way past their prime and weakened at Berniesing them. Like, guys, we can't keep doing that. We truly can't. It's not the death of Stalin. It's not weakened at Bernie's. This is baseball. And we need to stop resurrecting old dogs to make room for the new blood. I mean, that's the solution here. It's an easy one. It's one that the fans have been saying for a while now. And I hope this upward trend of bringing guys like Vinny Pasquantino on the team, or Pasquantino, I apologize. It's a long last name. Leave me alone. But bringing guys up like that, he hit a home run on his first at bat, guys. Like, come on. We could have so much more as Royals fans, but it's just right there. But we don't. And until the Royals figure themselves out, we will continue not to. Anyways, that's our show. After that, very, very optimistic note. Sorry I felt kind of out of it today. Obviously, 4th of July was yesterday, and had a pretty long day in terms of doing festivities for that. And, coming back to work has been an adjustment for sure. But we're still cruising. We still got the show done. And hopefully we got a good product for you guys. That's what it's all about. And I want to thank my mom for donating this, the new lighting with the ring light. And that's what it's going to take for better products, is your guys' support. And I really do appreciate each and every one of you that watch these and that humor me in good times and in bad, and read my articles, watch the podcasts, donate to the Patreon, and supply me. You guys are loved and appreciated, and I can't say that enough. So thank you all so much for watching. This has been Alex Blackburn. We will see you guys Sunday, not on Tuesday, because there's no holiday on Sunday. So we're going to see y'all Sunday. This is Alex Blackburn, the Burn KC, signing off.